Today we're going to make buttery brioche bread. It is soft and tender and perfectly buttery with a super tight and tender crumb. It is just has like a nice crust on the top and around the edges that contrasts beautifully with the center. It is just, this bread is amazing. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button below and click the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new and delicious recipe. Alright, so our yeast have been blooming and they are starting to put little bubbles up and indicating to me that they are ready and willing to make a dough. So we're going to add all the rest of our ingredients to the stand mixer. So we're going to do AP flour. All of our liquids are already in there. Kosher salt, sugar, eggs, and butter. Now this is like soft and pliable, but not, not melted. Go ahead and pop that in your stand mixer. I'm going to mix and incorporate with the paddle attachment because I find it easier. So go ahead and just start that on low and just let your ingredients start to mix together. So I'm going to give it a scrape, which is a little weird to say about a dough, but things like to stick in the middle of the paddle attachment, and we want to make sure that everything is incorporating. There's not just like a patch of eggs in the center. All right. Smells like butter and yeast. Best smell ever. Alright, now it's incorporated, it looks chunky and weird in there, that's fine, it doesn't matter. We're not done. So go ahead and scrape off your dough from your paddle attachment. Go ahead, pop this back in, fit that hook on there, and start her on kind of medium, and let it go. So it's been mixing about 6 or so minutes. It doesn't look as you would expect, a nice formed and rich dough to look, but this has so much butter in it that it's going to look a little different. So because we mixed everything together at one time, it's not going to get that nice smooth exterior in the mixing bowl because it just can't. So, but we can still test for our gluten, right? You want to get a big enough piece, and we're going to try and pull the Windowpane. You'll notice it's a very soft, supple dough. It's not sticky. It's just very, very soft. So I am able to pull a little bit of a Windowpane here, but I've got some, it looks like kind of strands, like thick veins, right, in it. And so we want to keep going. We don't want those in there. We want a nice smooth dough. So go ahead and just keep mixing it for a little bit more. Alright, and test one more time. I think she's probably about there. So you can see it is pulled in a nice even pane, and we are going to get it out of our mixing bowl and into our bowl here that I've sprayed with Pam or nonstick spray. Alright, now here's our dough. She's looking nice. We are going to give her a nice fold a little later because we want to make sure that she gets the gluten she needs to hold all of this butter up in the oven, right? So go ahead and plop her in our bowl here, and then we're going to cover with plastic wrap and let it kind of double. So in about 30 minutes we'll give it a check. The dough is actually pretty chilly still, so it might take closer to an hour. It is time to fold our brioche. Do you see how beautiful she is? I'm going to give her a flip over, and then I'm going to pull up one side, hit it down, This is actually the second fold that I did. I did one after about 15 minutes, and then this is after 30 minutes, because it's very hard to get the gluten to develop fully in the mixer, just with that dough hook and all that butter, and like it's just too much for it, right? You're gonna end up ruining your gluten structure and over mixing it, making it too hot, and it is better to just finish it with a series of folds, but also just time. So one fold is fine too. Quarter turn for your last fold, and then you flip her over. Do you see how nice and smooth that top is? It's really just really sexy. So we're going to go ahead and cover this up. We'll put it back in my warm place, which is my window, because it is so sunny and it's like its own little bed. My cat is like, no. Anyways, so this is going to go back in the window, and it's probably going to proof based on its time situation here, probably another 30 minutes, and then we're going to divide it and shape it. All right, our dough is ready to pre-shape and shape. You see she is doubled again. She's looking great. I'm going to plop her out on the counter. She's very heavily buttered on the inside, so I don't think that she's going to need any sort of help on the counter. Now, I've got 2 loaf pans here. I'm going to give them a spray. I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees convection, or 375 regs. Now, half is going to go in half, obviously. So I'm just going to eyeball it. We're going to be, no, I'm just going to weigh it. I can't with myself today. Apparently my eyeballing, because that like doesn't look right at all. Okay, yeah, 500. All right, each one's 500, so it's easy. All right, so we're going to pre-shape. So the way you pre-shape for a loaf pan, since it's short, you want to pre-shape into a round. So you're going to go ahead and fold all the corners in, flip it over, and then you're going to pull it in towards yourself. And this is going to make a nice smooth top, and this is your pre-shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just the pre-shape. Set it to the side and do repeat with the other one. Okay, go ahead and just, so all I'm doing is pulling under, so I'm stretching the dough underneath itself and running it over the counter, and then doing a quarter turn and doing it again. So we're going to let them sit there. I'm going to cover them with plastic wrap, 10 minutes, and then I'll show you the final shape. It is time to final shape them. And, all right, go ahead and pick it up, flip it over. You're going to want to shake it, kind of stretch it a little bit, and then you're going to fold it into the center and rotate it around, and do the same thing on the other side. And then you're going to do what's called a thumb fold. So you're going to rotate it around your thumb and hit it down. Rotate and cinch and seal. So do it again. And you want to keep in mind the size of your pan while you're doing this, because obviously you want it to be the size of your pan and not any bigger or smaller. So here we have that, and we're going to place her in the pan, and she's happy. And we're going to place her right there, and we're going to do the next one. Stretch into the center, and then our thumb fold. One more time for the center there, so a little fat. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and place it in our pan. Now, I'm going to put these on a baking sheet. I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap, and then I'm going to let them double again. So that's going to take another like 15 to 20, maybe 30. It depends on how they're doing. The dough is still nice and chill, so it's going to make a beautiful, beautiful brioche. Plastic. Okay, so we are ready. So I have already preheated my oven to 350 degrees convection, or 375 regular. I've got myself a little egg wash. You can watch my tutorial up there. It'll take you like 20 seconds. And brush the tops of these loaves. They don't rise to the top of these loaf pans. I think these loaf pans are like a little larger than, I don't know, I used to have, but it doesn't matter. So go ahead and just brush them with egg wash. You don't have to. You could brush them with butter when they come out of the oven. Whatever you want to do is totally fine. Just give them a little brush with something. and we're gonna pop them in the preheated oven. They're probably gonna bake for about 20-25 minutes, maybe closer to 30. And we're out. It baked about 30 minutes until the top was a nice golden brown. The sides were also golden brown. A cake tester inserted is clean, and also I checked the temperature and it read over 185. So now all we have to do is wait for it to cool about 5 minutes, and we're gonna pop them out of the pans. You don't want them to steam themselves in the pan. You wanna get a nice, beautiful crust on the outside. All right, it has been 5 minutes and we are ready to pop these babies out. So we're just gonna carefully take them and then pop it out and then flip it over. Same with this one. Yep. Flip it over. All right, and now we let them cool completely before we cut them, if you can bear the smell, because it smells like butter and just absolute, just gluten lovers heaven in here. just being honest. So you have to let them cool, or the crumb will kind of like mush together and not cut in a beautiful way, but you do you. I'm not judging you. Rip that open. All right, it is time to try, my friends. They have cooled completely. I mean, okay, there might be a slightly bit of warm on the inside, but who's telling? I'm not telling. Plus, I'm running the show. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna slice into it. Right here in the center, basically. Why? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Do you see this gorgeous crumb? Oh my goodness. Whew. She is stunning. Smells buttery and yeasty and like just, I'm gonna dive in. That was a big bite that I just took. It is soft and buttery and tender. It doesn't melt in your mouth, but like it has the perfect amount of chew, and it just, becomes one with your soul. I think it does. I think it does. And the crust outside is like a little bit flaky, like on the top. Just, I mean, Is there anything better than brioche? Yes, lemon bread pudding made with brioche. I can tell you that. Well, now I've eaten a whole slice of bread to try. So good.